Smiling all the way to the bank and home, I guess, and I'm talking about Kericho Governor Eric Mutai, who survived what would have been a grueling impeachment after the Senate upheld the governor's objection that members of the county assembly failed to achieve the required 2/3 of the assembly to impeach him from office. The issue of the 2/3 majority of MCAs required to impeach Kericho Governor Eric Mutai weighed heavily at the floor of the Senate as senators began hearing the impeachment of the governor. A debate ensued on the required number when only 31 MCAs voted for the ouster motion instead of the required 32 as per the Constitution.
Documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly, including the list of 31 out of 47 members of the County Assembly that voted in favor of the motion for removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County. Also noting that one of the preliminary objections raised by Honorable Dr. Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County, was that the requisite threshold for passage of a motion for the removal of a governor from office by impeachment being 2/3 of the members of the County Assembly, as provided for in Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 74 of the Standing Orders of the County Assembly of Kericho, is 32 members of the County Assembly and was not met. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves to uphold the preliminary objection on the threshold required for removal of a governor from office by impeachment, provided for in Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 74 of the Standing Orders of the County Assembly of Kericho, and forthwith terminates the hearing on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County. Honorable Senators, the motion having been approved, the hearing proceedings on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County, hereby terminates. And the Senate now stands adjourned until tomorrow, Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Well, following the decision by the Senate to Governor Eric Mutai, a section of residents expressed dissatisfaction with the ruling. Just hours after the decision, the residents believe that the 2/3 majority was met.
Hii moja wameshikilia wakasema ya kwamba the threshold was not met. Na haya malalamishi mengine yalienda wapi? So as the people of Kericho, we feel that we were not served with justice. We were not served with justice as Kericho people.
I'm greatly disappointed as a member of Navota, Kericho County. We followed everything that was actually happening in the Senate, and we have actually felt that there is something that is not going so well, that there is some biasness, and the people of Kericho County have not been served justice.
Tangu serikali hii ichukue ushukani, wako na deni hawachalipa, mpaka hata governors hawachapata pesa ya kuhudumia wananchi. Hizo malalamiko ya kusema Mutai hajafanya kazi, ati kuna nini, tunasema senators walifanya kazi mzuri na utuchungie Mutai.
Nasema asante kwa senators, lakini kitu yenye tunataka kwa governor wetu atufanyie kazi. Liteni tunataka maji, tunataka kazi kubwa ifanyike hapa. Tunasema asante Mutai, tufanyie kazi.
You know, human beings are very strange creatures. I mean, they're saying that the 2/3 majority was met. It wasn't met. It's a question of numbers. 1 + 1 = 2, not 3. Well, let's take a look at another gentleman who's also been trying to, have his impeachment stopped. And for the 23rd time, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yet again filed a petition in court seeking orders to stop his impeachment that was upheld by the National Assembly with 282 MPs voting him out. Through his lawyers, led by Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, Gachagua continues to look for a lifeline. The High Court will today deliver a ruling on whether to suspend the impeachment trial of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua at the Senate. The ruling will be delivered at around 2:30 p.m. so you can be very sure that we are going to bring that for you. For public participation to be satisfactory, it must be meaningful and within reasonable time. This is what the lawyers are arguing. They also say that the DP's rights were infringed upon, considering the insufficient time that was allocated for the exercise. And they also raised question about the manner in which the proceedings have been hurriedly conducted. They also raised the issue of various gross violation of the law being committed during the whole process.
My Lord, these proceedings which are before the Senate are legitimate constitutional proceedings. My Lord, public participation has been conducted. They can question the adequacy of that public participation, but my Lord, public participation has been conducted to a sufficient degree of acceptability. My Lord, that is why in the response, my Lord, you can see numbers being quoted by the petitioner. So, my Lord, if I submit that if there was no public participation in these proceedings, in the impeachment proceedings, my Lord, then that will have made a lot of sense to injunct the proceedings at any time when the petitioner comes to court, because, my Lord, public participation is a core constitutional value.
What the Senate is required to do is to look at the facts and the evidence as an impartial tribunal, just like this court. And then the matter will proceed after that, if it ends up in court. So when that matter, or if that matter does find its way to court, the court will have an opportunity to interrogate whether the public participation was sufficient, adequate, real, purposive, as per the principles in the BAT case. The matter does end up in court. Once Parliament, both houses have made the decision, then the court will have an opportunity to review the conduct of that public participation. But secondly, the Senate, the context of public participation for impeachment for a tribunal is different. They must have the proceedings open to the public and accessible, but it cannot be that they are required to go out and collect views because they are required to listen to the evidence and the facts before them as an impartial tribunal.
Well, at the same time, the Chief Justice Martha Koome has constituted a three-judge bench to hear and determine cases challenging the impeachment process of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The bench consists of Justices Eric Ogolla, Anthony Mrima, and Frida Mugambi. The Chief Justice appointed the bench after Justice Lawrence Mugambi said he was satisfied that the petition filed by Gachagua and 5 other separate cases raised weighty constitutional issues that required the mind of more than one judge. He also considered the immense public interest they had generated. Now, and just before we get to a place where we're going to find out what the headlines are screaming out today, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, Chairperson Simon Kobier has cautioned senators on the impending decision on Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Addressing the press, the chairman called on the Senate to be cautious with the impeachment since it could divide the country. However, he maintained that the commission was ready to hold accountable any political leaders using divisive politics to incite Kenyans into violence, as they are currently doing in the county of Tana River.
As NCIC, our major concern is that the way this process is shaping up, it could easily lead to conflicts between the people of the Mount Kenya area and the people from other parts of the country. This is what we are very concerned and worried about. So we feel that the Senate, in handling this matter, should do it in a way that all Kenyans will feel that it has been fair and it has been done according to the law and the Constitution.
You know, there's a question you can ask. The NCIC is telling the Senate to be cautious about the impeachment process. So what exactly is he saying? Is he telling the Senate not to impeach the deputy governor? Deputy president, rather? Now, Central Imenti Member of Parliament, Moses Kirima, now claims that there's a conspiracy to ensure that Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki is the man to be appointed Deputy President if Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is impeached from office. Kirima has claimed that the Mount Kenya MP supported Gachagua's impeachment with the promise that Professor Kindiki would be the man to take over. But now he claims things have begun to change. This week, Gachagua will know his fate when senators are expected to vote for or against the motion to impeach him after the National Assembly upheld the special motion.
We believed as Meru MPs that number 2 is supposed to take that place of number 1. So we signed on strength that Kindiki is going to be appointed as NDP. But from the time we passed that impeachment, things are not as they were. There is a lot of lobbying from various sectors of societies. A number of tribes, communities are lobbying to have their own, to be number 2. I'm concerned because you see now, we are hearing of somebody like Irongo Kangata. They're even calling us, they're robbing us to support them. There is also a majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah. There is Anne Waiguru, the women caucus of governors. They are up in arms, saying that according to the speech of William Ruto, president, and he promised them that the next deputy president will be the woman, will be a woman. They are also mentioning Grandes Wanga, and also sometimes they even bring the name of Raila Odinga in the scene. So when they bring all those things in Kimeru, is what we say, Mambura ya kuyanyenje. Mambura ya kuyanyenje is not straightforward as it was. So I'm so much concerned that there are those other players who have come in the scene. See? So it shouldn't be as that rumors and as it was at that time, because he was number 2. Let's number 2 take from number 1, because number 1 has been impeached.
Tunajua Waiguru, tunamwelewa sana, ni mnyenyekevu sana, anajua kuongea na mtu wa chini. Akienda kwa vijana ni kama kijana, akienda kwa wazee ni kama mzee. Ona vile kaunti ya Kirinyaga iko. Kama huyu mama angekuwa deputy, si Kenya mzima ingekuwa hivyo.
Mimi unaniona hapa niko na kijana huyu anaongeanga sign language. Huyu kijana amesoma, amekosa kazi. Kwa nini amekosa kazi? Ningekuwa na huyo mama angempatia kazi.
Juzi nilikuwa Kirinyaga. Hakuna mama anafanyi kazi. Unapata wamewajengea hata factory ya kuzia mchele inasiagwa, kuna wale wanasiaga wa mama, kuna wengine wamepanga hapa. Hapa kwetu hakuna mtu mwingine tunaonelea kama anaweza tutoa kwa shida kama mama yetu. Mama wetu Waiguru, mama wetu.
All right, let's find out how the newspapers are screaming. The headlines in the Daily Nation, will the courts save Gachagua? Now, in a couple of minutes or so, we're going to have a conversation where this is also going to feature, because there's a statement that was made by the Senate, by members of the Senate, concerning the decisions by the court. And we'll be looking at that in a couple of minutes. It says Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has filed 26 cases in a bid to block the impeachment proceedings against him. And today he hopes the courts will rule in his favor and stop the Senate trial scheduled for tomorrow and Thursday. The second page is the story that I just played you by the NCIC, which now shows that youth don't trust the president and other politicians. Well, they didn't need to do a survey to find that out, because we had the Gen Z going out to the streets, almost toppled the government. So we knew from ways back that the young people, well, they don't trust the presidency. Then we have the back page of the Daily Nation, counties staring at cash crisis. I have individuals who are working in the counties, and they can tell you they've not been paid due for how many months, and you wonder how they're surviving. So something definitely needs to be done, or things will start to give. The Standard, the race against time, it's still on the Deputy President's impeachment, and it says the Deputy President is a man under siege, or as one of our last Inspector General, former Inspector General would say, siege. And with each clock chime, the noose tightens with options running out. His replacement is imminent, even as he stares at a life out of public office. Is he negotiating a way out? Are the courts going to put asunder what the politicians have crafted? Who will take the hot seat if Rigathi Gachagua packs his bags? Now, that's a story in the Daily. Battle to outlaw the hangman presses on. Then the back page of the Standard, sports, stats and shoes behind Chepngetich world's record. She deserves proud, and there's a story about how she managed to do that. Get yourself a copy. Then we got the Star. Big test for Ruto as Central resists Gachagua's ouster. Well, from what we heard yesterday, members of parliament from Western, from Central Kenya, both Central East and West, are starting to develop wobbly feet with this impeachment process because of what is happening on the ground. So it's a case of wait and see on how they will treat this when it comes to the Senate tomorrow and Thursday. Then we have the inner page of the Nation, 2 men on death row for robbery to serve 30 years. So it's been turned from death to 30 years. Then the back page of the Star newspaper, sports, mindset is key. Serem eager for El Bakali rematch at next year's World Championships. There you go. The 3 newspapers. Get yourself a copy to know what's happening. We take a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to have a conversation about what is happening in the country. All right? Okay, let's do that right now.